Okay, so guys, today what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be doing chicken veloute, which is basically one of the mother sauces. And veloute is usually made from chicken stock or any kind of stock, whether it's vegetable stock, beef stock. In this case, it's gonna be chicken stock and then cornstarch. And then it has a little bit of aromatics that we're gonna put to this. So that's the first thing that we're gonna do. Once we get done with that, we're gonna have a little pause. I'm gonna plate it for you guys. And then the next dish that we're gonna be doing is the blackened tilapia. So that's what we're gonna be doing. I'll do a little bit of mise en place for our garnish and whatnot that's gonna go into the product. There's different varieties of this, but we're gonna keep it really simple so you guys have an idea and a visual of what it should look like when you present it to me this morning. Okay, so without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. For the chicken, I've got a little bit of salt, garlic, onion powder, and paprika. And this is what we're gonna season the chicken with. And then we're gonna go ahead and get it pan seared. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my burner on and get this hot. It was on previously, and then we're gonna go ahead and get this seasoned up. You wanna be generous, but you don't wanna have too much on there, and you wanna kinda like really rub it in. We're gonna get some more on this side. And then we'll go ahead and get the other one seasoned up. I'll get that done. So while that's seasoning there, we're gonna let that sit to marinate. I'll change gloves, and then we'll go ahead and get some other stuff done. So we got some onions here. I'm gonna go ahead and julienne our onions. Okay, and what I do for safety is once I get to this point that I can't hold it anymore, I lay it over and keep going. Okay, and then we'll have all our onions that we need. Okay, then we're gonna do some tricolor peppers. We've got red, yellow, and orange. We're gonna do that. We're gonna remove the seeds. Get that out of here. And then we're gonna julienne this as well. And then we're gonna go ahead and saute. So my pot's hot, it's smoking, so we're gonna turn that down a little bit so we don't burn everything up when we add it to it. I've got some parsley that's already chopped up. And then we're gonna get this done really quick. Oops, saw that? I almost cut my finger. All right, and then we'll get this one done. And I want you to kind of pay attention. If somebody don't mind timing, you could kind of do the time, because you guys take a really long time to put a dish together. And I want you to explain or see that it doesn't take as long as you guys are doing if all your mise en place is done and you're not making 17 trips back and forth to the refrigerator or the pantry to collect some of your product or your items. Okay, so we get this done. All right, and then we'll do the last one. Get that cut, move that. Take the peppers and onions out of there. We get all of this stuff done, and then the cooking, I will say that it's gonna be less than 10 minutes. It won't take long to get this done. We're just gonna need to temp it. Of course, you know, poultry is gonna be done when it's 165 degrees, and that's the minimum internal temperature that we need to get to. Okay? So for the sake of garnishing, I'm gonna use both of these for both dishes. I'm gonna use some of it for the blackened and also some for the chicken veloute. All right? The only difference will be the final garnishing. So we're ready. We're gonna add a little bit of olive oil to the skillet. We're gonna turn that up. You bring me some tongs, I didn't bring any. And then we're gonna get our chicken into the skillet. Now you can dredge your chicken if you want to in a little bit of cornstarch or a little bit of flour. That's an option. I don't like all that excess carbs or starch, so I'm gonna do like this. Just make sure that it's dry. Get this in here. You should hear a good nice sizzle. Right? We're gonna let this cook. And unlike when we're grilling, because last week we did some grilled chicken, but this week, because we're doing the sauté chicken, the way how you tell that the chicken's cooking or getting done is you'll start seeing that the browning of the chicken around the edges. Everybody can kind of see that, how around the edges is getting brown. So that's one way to tell that the chicken is done. These chicken are what we call flattened, so they're not really thick, they're even. If you get a chicken breast, usually you know you've got a fat part and then it kind of tapers off. You could always take a mallet and kind of put a plastic wrap over it and pound it out so that it's even all the way across, because it cooks evenly. What happens is this part, the chicken is cooked and it's done, but this part's still not done. And if you're going to do temping, you want to temp the thicker part of the chicken breast to make sure that that one reaches the temperature that it needs to be. Okay? So, we got nice color in here, so we're going to flip. We're going to flip. Everybody see the color? See that? So we're going to add that there. And we're just going to cook this down. Once this is done, so now that I've turned this, now I'm going to go ahead and add some of my garnishing or my aromatics, if you want to call that, to the pan. All right? So if you're doing this, and remember, you don't need a lot, you know. We're talking about maybe 1/4 cup of whatnot. Okay? And Shania was good enough to prep all of this for me. Shout out to Shania. And then we got a little bit of parsley here that's already been chopped. All right, I'm gonna just add that to the dish, okay? The whole reason for this is to bring some color to the dish, so everybody can see that, right? Okay? I don't know about you, but that looks good, okay? So we're just gonna try to go ahead and cook everything. Bring me a little skillet, for a little cover for this, okay? And we're gonna continue to cook this, get it done. So we're 50% of the way. I don't know who's keeping time, but I think we were maybe 4 or 5 minutes so far. All right. So I'm gonna do another turn, okay? And then we'll turn it one more time. And when we turn it the next time, of course, the other side is my presentation side. So that's the side that I'm going to use. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're gonna make a slurry. All right. And how we're gonna do the slurry is I've got my chicken broth here, and I'm gonna take cornstarch, all right? And this is about a teaspoon and a half of cornstarch, so about 2 cups of chicken base. And this is what's gonna make your veloute or gravy. So we're just gonna add that into the here, and then you wanna whisk it. Once you whisk it, then you won't have any lumps when you make your gravy. And this is gonna be a sauce, so it's not gonna be thick like brown gravy. It's gonna be a thin sauce, but you'll have something to garnish your dish with. Okay? So we'll go ahead and we'll turn these back over. Okay? All right, and just for everybody's, you know, this is what it's starting to look like. Nothing's burnt. If you smell burnt, you see it getting too dark, use common sense. Turn your fire down. Okay? You could always turn it back up. So now, this is what I'm looking for, guys. Everybody see the white foamy stuff right here? I don't know if you can see it. The white foamy stuff is when the chicken's almost done. I know traditionally, even when I went to culinary school, they say that you should wait till this runs clear. You need to start worrying about it now when it starts to foam and coagulate. That means that the protein inside of the chicken is cooking and it's almost done. And you don't want to wait till it runs clear, because once it runs clear, the chicken's dry. It's too far gone. So you want, once you see that foamy stuff, now's the time to start probing it or checking it with your thermometer, because we're almost where we need to be. So I'm gonna add this. I'm not gonna add all of it at once because we may not need all of it. Okay? All right, so this is gonna thicken up. And this is what's gonna make our sauce. Sorry, again, I need a spoon, a solid spoon. Okay? So I'm gonna cover this, and we will be right back. Okay, so there we go. All right, so that looks really good. We're gonna do a center of the plate presentation. I'm gonna lower this down, guys, and then we're gonna go ahead and plate. So we're gonna take this out. Well, let's temp it. It should be done, but before I get ahead of myself, let's check the temperature. So we're at 173, 175 inclining, okay? This one's is 165, and this is a little bit bigger than the other one. So both of them are done, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and plate. So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna get all my excess liquid off because I'm gonna try to keep the plate as clean as possible. And then we'll go back and we'll sauce it the way we want to. Okay? So we'll do that. Remember, when you do this, you're gonna only have one chicken breast. And then you may have some, a napkin. There was a stack of money. Y'all know where the napkins went to? Or bring a rag. I'm sorry about that. All right, and then we're gonna get that up here, okay? All right, thank you. We've got some Nigeria. Okay, so then I'm gonna go ahead and use my sauce. So everybody see the sauce? So how you know it's a sauce? The sauce, this is a thin sauce, but when you do it, you should coat the spoon. You see the line? So then that's a thin sauce, but it will do what we need it to do. So we're gonna get some right over the chicken, and then we're gonna get a little excess so that it gets on the bottom of the plate. All right, and if not, then we can kind of get it where we want it. All right. Now remember, when you do this, you'll probably have, set it right there for me, thank you. We'll have the other one, okay? Then we're gonna clean the plate up, okay? All right, so the plate's done, all right? And then we're gonna garnish, all right? And my parsley is all limp now, guys. But okay, so there we have it, all right? That's the chicken veloute. Everybody see what it should look like? So you guys should get pretty close. The whole idea that we want to is make sure that you're not getting it too dry, okay? So what we're gonna do with this is we're gonna just cut this up into a bunch of little pieces, and then y'all can taste it so y'all should know what it should taste like, all right? You stick that in the hot box.